Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is the 13th of December, 2023, and Travels with Dottie. It's traveling without Dottie today. I just got a bunch of errands to do, and Dottie's sleeping. So I'm a lone soldier today. And the first thing I'm going to do is take you through the part of the Posa South here and take a look at the population of rigs out here. And I'm going to drop some trash. Then we're going to go into town, and I need to get some gas for the truck, some gas for the my can for the generator, and I need to go to the grocery store, and I need to pick up some mail, and I'm going to take you on a tour of, and I assuming it's open, I didn't check specifically, but the plan is to do a tour of the Quartzsite Museum. And I think that'd be pretty neat. I had this kind of, I call it a phenomenon that I've had maybe twice now with my battery bank. I have a pretty large amp hours of lithium batteries, and I noticed there was a kind of a cloudy, rainy day, so I lost a lot of ground, and every day after that I was building up a little bit more, but it was getting down around 50%, which shouldn't be a worry, and it isn't, until the other morning. Alarms started going off, and they were low voltage alarms, meaning you're out of battery, and I was at like 60%. Like, something's wrong, because I don't run it. Shouldn't be running out of battery at 60%. And something had occurred. Here's my feeling that, and this had happened last year, and the common denominator was both times this happened was when I added a new battery to the bank. And I don't pretend to know. All I'm talking about is correlation here. I'm not an expert on this stuff by any chance. But the solution last time is the same solution this time. I fired my generator up. I've got a 100 amp hour, 100 amp charger. And I also have a 30 amp charger on my truck. And I combined both of them, and I charged those batteries pretty much all day till I got to what they call the absorption stage. And the absorption stage, as I understand it, is balances all the batteries. And that was I was in absorption for 2 hours. And it took that 100 amp plus charge for many, many hours, which tells me that I didn't have as much capacity as my state of charge was showing. A couple other things that we did to troubleshoot this issue was after everything was charged up and I was convinced they were charged up, I disconnected everything, and we went through and measured the voltage on each battery to make sure that there wasn't one battery that had a problem, and there wasn't. They were all very, very close. And also I went through and checked all my connections. Now, I did find a connection from the inverter into the coach. Those connections could have been a little tighter, another turn, but I don't think it was enough to, create heat and amperage loss and stuff. But anyway, I have the feeling that as accurate as the shunt, and the shunt is the thing that measures the amps in and amps out and gives you your percentage state of charge, that I think gets off over time. So if I'm not getting through solar into absorption and then maybe float, but absorption, I need to fire up the generator every couple of weeks and get to that absorption stage, and I think that'll eliminate that problem. Anyway, I'm gonna go throw some garbage out. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. And we will see what the population looks like on the main road out of Posa South here. It's very interesting that if you guys watch Campulence Man, I watched one of his videos, and he stays up on off Plumosa Road in the BLM up there, and he was driving around saying, "Hey, it's like there are no rigs here." When I compare to last year, there's nothing, and you could see he's not kidding. But it seems the opposite down here. It feels like there's more than there was this time last year, but who knows? Let me straighten this out a little bit so you can see both sides of the road there. It's really hard to tell because you don't know how good your memory was. My friend Tim, he has a YouTube channel, TIMAZ, and he does his drone flights over, and he's time and date stamping them. So when we come around to next year, we'll be able to make comparisons on his drone flights. But he's got crystal clear images, and he narrates them, and you might want to check that out. But yeah, it seems damn busy, but there's no way to really tell. It definitely is a lot busier in town than it has been in the past couple of weeks, but is it busier than it was on December 13th last year? You know what? I gotta say, I don't really know. My sense is yes, but when I heard the report from Plumosa, I started doubting my perceptions. So anyway, one of the things I'm doing is I'm trading in I traded in my old iPhone for a new one with AT&T, and you have 30 days to get it back, and I didn't get a package or anything with to send it back, nor did they send me an email with a label or anything. So I called customer service, and they were on the phone with me for half an hour, and she said, "I'm supposed to be able to send you a return label," but she would send it and I wouldn't get it. And then she gave me the number for the business returns or something, or business trade-ins, I don't know. But it's a line where somebody answers the phone, actually. And I explained, I said, "No problem, we'll send you out one." But for some reason, they can't do it right there and then. It's got to go through some kind of channels or approval. And so I waited a week, and that didn't come either. And so I called again, and a woman gave me the same story. And I said, "Look, this is the third call I've made on this." And luckily, they were able to extend the amount of days that I had because I was over the 30 days. Then finally, about 3 days after I talked to her, the label came through by email. But there was a whole chain with multiple escalations to get it done. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but what the heck. The AT&T service that I've gotten has been phenomenal, both data and voice. But the navigating the app and their website and their customer service has always been a real hardship. They've got a lot of work to do on that end. But like I said, the quality of the service is, and if you have your own business and you can prove it, like you have a corporate, like I have a subchapter S corporation, and you can prove it to them. You can open a business account, and here's the thing with data with a business account. When you are doing data on the cell towers, there's prioritization. And the top priority, I know this from when I was a first responder, are AT&T customers that are first response organizations have the absolute highest priority on the towers. So that means you're always going to get, faster speeds and you get priority. But number 2 is business customers. And then 3 are postpaid accounts, the regular accounts, consumer accounts, and then below that are prepaid accounts. And then I assume, I don't know this for sure, below that might be other carriers that share their tower. So I don't know that one for sure. But anyway, having a business account is worth it. It might be a little bit more money than a consumer account, but it's, here where there's a lot of volume in December and January, I'm still getting good data with my AT&T business data. So anyway, and we're going to come up here soon on the 2 LTVAs that are right outside of town. That's north, La Posa North, La Posa West. We'll see. You're not going to be able to see much because I don't have I need a super wide view for you to see them, but I'll tell you what I see as we go by here. Yeah, I'm looking to the left, that's west, and it's a sea of rigs. And I can't quite see to the right here yet. Yeah, it's a sea of rigs to the right too, so. I think I mentioned in a previous video, I made a critical mistake. My main mail forwarder is in Pahrump, and I signed up for Moon Mountain here, and this is totally my doing and my fault. I did not pay close attention when you sign up. They give you a thorough training that says if you want to get postal service mail, you must have the address this particular way. You must list their post office box first and then your private mailbox after that. For non-postal stuff, it's fine to have their address in your private mailbox. I didn't pay attention, and I had my Pahrump mail service forward all my mail, and of course I realized the mistake I made, and it got rejected, and it was probably close to 3 weeks before that package of mail got returned to them, and now they have the right address and they're going to send it down to me and I'll get it. So hopefully I won't have, like, most of my bills and stuff are, well, almost all my bills are electronic, but like, for example, I went to the emergency room in New Mexico, and I'm sure there are overdue bills for that visit. And let me tell you something. That visit is going to cost me at least $1,200, and that visit was because, and keep in mind I'm an ex-paramedic, I got a nosebleed that I could not stop, even though I know how to stop nosebleeds. Been on emergency calls with nosebleeds. I've never had one that wouldn't stop. Actually, that's not true. I had one where I had to transport to the hospital because I couldn't stop it. But I never thought that would be me. That was me. And I had worked on trying to stop it for over 2 hours. It was 1 o'clock in the morning, and it wasn't leaking out. It was gushing out. And I didn't even have a clothespin or anything where I could just, pinch the nostrils, and I couldn't find anything. And I know what I needed was a nose spray called Afrin, which is a vasoconstrictor, and that will stop the bleeding. But I didn't have any, and the closest place where I could buy one at 1 in the morning was 70 miles away, but there was an ER 4 miles away. And so I went to the ER, and they charged me probably $1,200, and guess what the treatment was? Afrin. They gave me some Afrin, and I'm like, and the doctor says, "Oh, you can keep the bottle." And I said, "I should hope so." This is like I'm looking at $1,000 bottle of Afrin, and sure enough, that's what it costs. And I have insurance, but I've got $8,000 deductible. So so I'm sure that bill, and it's 2 separate bills. There's one for the doctor, there's one for the facility, and I called and tried to pay it online, and that was impossible. All right, we're at Moon Mountain, and I'm going to shut this off, and I'll be right back. Well, we couldn't go to the museum because we checked that out, and it was closed. So we're going to try again and do a separate Quartzsite Museum video. But I'm taking you with me to Coyote Fresh Foods, and I'm doing a narration after the fact over it because sometimes there's music in the background, and I don't want to get copyright problems. And it's always seems a little odd to people when you're walking through the grocery store talking out loud and they don't realize you're recording. You get some odd looks, so this is better. So I've got a list of things that I need, and the first thing is I needed some, what did I need here? I needed cheese and I needed cold cuts. There's some ham. And I'm scanning away for cheese. And this fella, he works there, and he's walked up, and there were 2 carts behind me, and he said, well, he's not using 2 carts, and he was trying to be polite, saying, well, which one's yours? I said, I don't know one of them, and we had a good laugh about it. Nice kid, nice young guy. And we got some eggs there. And I like taking you with me through the whole place so you can see how it's stocked, what they have. And keep in mind, I get this complaint a lot. When you go through the grocery store, you go too fast. Well, if you look in your YouTube, there's a little gear wheel somewhere up on the right. You press that, and that'll allow you to slow down the playback so you can really see what's going by in more detail. And even though I'm coming through for specific stuff, I'd like to go through all the aisles, show you what's up. And I can't remember what I was looking at here, but I definitely had stopped for a little while, and I was intrigued by something. I don't know what it was. Oh, I think I know what it was. I was looking for mayonnaise and tortillas. That's corn. I want flour. Found it. And I'm looking for ice cream here. And they do have ice cream, but I'm a single guy and with a small freezer, and I wanted a pint, and they didn't have any pints. They just had bigger stuff, so I didn't get my ice cream there. I decided, you know what? I'll get stuff that I can't get here. There's a Family Dollar right next door. I'll go there. And I'm looking for cookies. I like having a little sweet after dinner and stuff that'll keep for a long time. And I kind of hit the jackpot here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see what I got, but there was a sugar cookie with like a cream frosting over the top. Man, they were good. And that's a chocolate cookie with frosting over the top. But let me tell you, to remind you, I'm narrating this a day later, so I had some of those cookies. The sugar cookie with the white frosting, primo, really, really good. So I think I'm back on my search for mayonnaise. And if I remember right, all they had here was like the jars, and it's just easier for me if I get the squeeze bottles, and they didn't have any squeeze bottles. So I think I got the mayonnaise at Family Dollar. Yeah, here it is. I found the section. You can see down there, they just had the jars. They did have Miracle Whip in the squeeze thing. And if you know Miracle Whip, it's not really exactly mayonnaise. It's kind of a tangy taste. It's an acquired taste. When I was a kid, that's all we used, and I got used to it. But I prefer regular mayonnaise these days. So you see the water on the left that gets ransacked. There's a lot of empty shelf space, but there's water there if you need it. And just to remind you, we're in Coyote Fresh Foods, and the other place I go is called Roadrunner. And it's no coincidence that it's the Roadrunner and the Coyote. And I found myself some sourdough bread, and I'm like thinking, boy, that's really big. But I remembered sourdough bread lasts a long, long time. It doesn't mold like regular bread. And even at the end of its life where it gets, a little dried out, it makes great toast. So I bought some sourdough bread. I really miss the sourdough lady that used to do fresh. Oh, that's the hot foods. The hot foods are really good. And I'm looking at some stuff here. There's some cheese, macaroni and cheese. That's some fresh soup they made on special. I think it's potato soup, if I remember right. I was talking about this lady that used to sell, she would make like a dozen fresh loaves of sourdough bread every day, and she would sell them off a table on Main Street, and people would line up for them because only the first 12 people got bread, and she's not here. I ran into her this year. She was here, but she wasn't doing the sourdough thing.
So I'll go unfortunately, here. I'm looking for.
So here I am walking next door to Family Dollar.
And batteries. We'll see how we do.
And to get the few things that Coyote didn't have, like batteries. I need batteries, and they have, I found, 4 AA batteries. They're $1. It's an off-brand. I bet it's not a great battery, but $1? Oh, we'll see. So I bought 2 packages of those. So it's, December, the middle of December, and I tell you, the shelves are looking pretty good. They're busy in here, and they're doing a good job keeping those shelves full. But there's going to be a couple of times, if you're here in January, you're going to come in and look at empty shelves and go, did someone not tell me about an apocalypse or something? And it's just, they have a hard time keeping up with the volume of people coming through in January. But it's temporary. But if you're here for the season, do a lot of stocking up before the first of the year, so you don't have to make as many trips in for supplies. And I know that's a tall order for a lot of us that don't have room for stuff, especially frozen goods. And look, there's pints. I knew there'd be pints here. They have Ben and Jerry's. And I must be contemplating, and I'm getting cookie dough, chocolate chip cookie dough, Ben and Jerry's. Interesting note on Ben and Jerry's. You all know who Ben and Jerry's is, but what you don't know is my sister Annie dated Ben prior to the ice cream empire, when they were both working at a school in Vermont for troubled kids. And Ben was the pottery guy, and my sister was the business manager. So that's going to be it for our trip into Quartzsite today. And I've got a bonus for you. At the end of this, I'm going to show you a little snippet behind the scenes where Bob Wells came out to my camp about a week ago and interviewed me. So there's about less than a minute clip of the interview, which probably won't be out for quite some time, several months.
And what made you decide to live in an RV?
You did.
I did. Okay.
It really, I started watching videos, and I stumbled across you, and what really spoke to me was your philosophy and the idea that society is structuring us to work until we're too old to work, and it doesn't make any sense.
And do you have any social media that people can get in touch with you?
I do. Travels with Dottie is my my YouTube, and it just really got going this past year. I've got 3,500 subscribers. I'm doing a video almost every day while I'm here in Quartzsite.
Wow.
And I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I camp with a good friend of mine that she just started her social media. It's called the RV Chick, and she just introduced it yesterday.